Hey Leute und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einer weiteren Folge von Vampyr. Ja, wir müssen immer noch zu der netten kleinen Dorothy. Wir haben nämlich das Medikament hergestellt und da ist die Gute auch. Und wir haben endlich einen Händler gefunden, wo wir Sachen kaufen können, aber wir sind noch ein bisschen pleite. Deswegen
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
Kannst du dich mal waschen gehen, bitte? Krankheiten. Nämlich, das ist auch nicht hygienisch, wenn sie die ganze Zeit da mit Blut rumläuft. Krankheiten verringern die Blutqualität eines Bürgers. Verwende die richtigen Medikamenten, um ihm zu helfen. Sprich mit dem Patienten im Zimmer hinter Dorothy, um seinen Gesundheitszustand zu kontrollieren. Rutsch. Wer sind Sie?
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reid? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
So, mein Ruf eilt mir voraus, würde ich mal sagen.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Sie ist ganz schön
Are
gemein.
you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Sehr nice.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Na, da wollen wir doch mehr nachhaken.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
So, was passiert hier nur im Krankenhaus?
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
Irgendwas läuft hier im Krankenhaus ganz schön
I
schief.
share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reid. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Gewiss. Gut, hier können wir nichts machen. Dann würde ich sagen,
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
ab zum Söhnchen. Das ist aber Edward. Hä? Ich muss doch mit denen noch erstmal
Good
quatschen.
evening. I'm Dr. Reid. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Krankheit. Drücke RB, um den Gesundheitszustand des Bürgers zu kontrollieren. Die Heilung eines Bürgers verbessert seine Blutqualität und belohnt dich mit... Außerdem verbessert sich der Gesundheitszustand des
Do you need any
Bezirks.
help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
Was habe ich denn jetzt gemacht? Ich habe RB gedrückt.
I will see you later.
Nein! Hä?
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reid. It's my mother.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
Alles klar.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
Haben wir jetzt... Er erholt sich.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Alter, das ist kompliziert.
You always knew the words to calm the children.
Ist das kompliziert?
What a blundering idiot.
Das muss ich oben gucken, ne? Wegen den verschiedenen Medikamenten.
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me.
Habe ich irgendwas falsch gemacht? Aber er erholt sich ja, ne? Verlockung des Blutes. Bedenke, dass dir das Blut von Bürgern eine große Menge... Was soll ich denn jetzt? Ich bin leicht verwirrt.
Never could keep anything from her.
Was soll ich denn jetzt mit
Good
dir
evening,
machen?
Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Er erholt sich,
Do you
ne?
need any help?
Thank you, Dr. Reid, but you've done enough already. The rest is up to me now.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'll let you get some rest, then.
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me.
Oh, Alter, wie selbstlos von dem Patienten.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Es ist leicht verwirrend. Ohne Scheiß, Leute.
You always knew the words
Wer bist du eigentlich?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reid, yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Tut mir leid, ich bin ein Fuscher.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reid. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
Ups. Ach so, ja, ich kann hier immer was aussuchen.
Aren't you too old for such jealousy? It really won't do you any good, you know.
Don't be ridiculous, Dr. Reid. A simple glance is enough for me to know you have nothing for me to envy.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Der Typ ist ganz schön widerlich. Hält nichts von dem Modernen. Wer ist das? Was mir dies auch immer bringen mag. Wo ist der eigentlich?
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Finden wir ihn jetzt hier irgendwo? Hä? Hi, wer bist du?
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reid. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reid.
Wenigstens einer mag uns.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
So.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reid. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
Ich will noch mal wissen, was mit
I
seiner
based my
Experiment ist.
technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
So. Wir müssen die, glaube ich, auch
Tell
ausfahren.
me
Ne?
more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reid. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Alles klar.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior, a man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones and flesh.
Alles klar, also das wird
Goodbye,
immer
Dr. Strickland.
sehr lang sein, wenn wir mit jemandem reden. Oh. Zerknetterter Brief, den müsste ich eigentlich besonders auch irgendwann mal lesen. Ach, wir sind wieder bei ihm. Ich will mal kurz zu den Typen, den wir am Anfang, als wir hierher gekommen sind, getroffen haben und ihnen die Ampulle geben. Aber er ist weg. Okay, nee, dann gehen wir wieder zurück. Dieses Krankenhaus ist verdammt grob. Wegen der Grippe nimmt dieses Krankenhaus keine weiteren Patienten auf. Das Krankenhaus ist voll. Bitte kehren Sie wieder heim. Oh, ich bin wieder hier drin. Leicht verwirrend, muss ich schon zugeben. Mit der haben wir gesprochen. Ich will diesen einen Mann finden. Bedenklich. Alles klar, ich gehe mal lieber wieder ins gesunde Bezirk. Nee, in den gesunden Bezirk. Guter Deutsch. Gut, wir gehen jetzt endlich zum Arzt nach oben. Zu Swansea. Der müsste ja, glaube ich, hier sein.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea. But my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
Ihre Worte sind tröstlich. Dies ist kein Geschenk. Ich bin ein... Ja, jetzt darf ich mir eine Sache aussuchen, die uns wahrscheinlich ein Ende bringt. Ihre Worte sind tröstlich. Ich mach mal das.
There is an absurd poetry to my situation. Physician, heal thyself.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
Edgar. Sie müssen sich nicht entschuldigen, das ist nicht unterhaltsam. Wir brauchen...
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Dann lasst uns mal suchen gehen, aber erstmal möchte ich... Brief von... Sehr geehrter Herr Dr. Swansea, sehr gerne kümmere ich mich um die provisorische Leichenhalle, sobald sie eröffnet ist. Wie ich Ihnen bereits mitgeteilt habe, war ich während des Krieges Arzt und werde meinem Land mit Freude erneut dienen. Natürlich ist es nicht dasselbe, ob man die Toten oder die Lebenden betreut. Aber auch um unsere Verstorbenen muss man sich gut kümmern. Seien Sie versichert, dass ich mein Bestes geben werde, um diese neue Aufgabe bestmöglich zu verrichten. Bezüglich meiner Qualifikation tut es mir leid, dass ich Ihnen nicht mehr als mein Ehrenwort geben kann. Ich schwöre Ihnen, dass mein Regiment mich während des Krieges zum Arzt ernannt hat und ich viele Leben gerettet habe. Wenn mein Wort nicht genügt, können Sie die Militärverwaltung kontaktieren, um meine Erfahrung und Fertigkeiten zu überprüfen. Sie wird Ihnen bestätigen, dass mich der Krieg gelehrt hat, was ein Arzt wirklich wissen muss, auch wenn ich nie Medizin studiert habe. Hochachtungsvoll Rakesh Shadadan, ehemaliger Arzt. Okay. Er ist in Wirklichkeit kein Arzt. Sehr geehrter Dr. Swansea, hiermit informiere ich Sie über meine starken Zweifel bezüglich Dr. Tori Strickland um den Fall von Harvey Fiddick. Mr. Fiddick wurde nach einem schweren Arbeitsunfall eingeliefert. Wenn man ihn nicht angemessen behandelt, läuft er Gefahr, seinen Arm zu verlieren. Dr. Strickland behauptet, ein medizinischer Eingriff könne den Arm des Mannes komplett heilen. Ich fürchte, dass Komplikationen in den Arm kosten könnten. Unser junger Kollege ist kein kühner, experimentierfreudiger Arzt, der ihn ein paar Jahre zu einem hervorragenden Experten reifen konnte. Doch noch fehlt ihm die Expertise, diese riskante Behandlung durchzuführen. Muss ich Sie an seine früheren Verfehlungen erinnern? Da Dr. Strickland nicht auf mich hört, empfehle ich Ihnen, sein gefährliches Experiment zu unterbinden. Hochachtungsvoll Dr. Ackroyd. Die mögen sich beide nicht, kann das sein? Das ist wieder ein langer Text, Leute. Also wie gesagt, anhalten und selbst lesen. Gut, dann würde ich sagen, machen wir weiter. Vielleicht müssen wir noch mal kurz mit dem Doktor reden.
Do you need something, Jonathan?
I have just a few questions.
Then ask away. I'm at your service, Doctor.
Ich glaube, das fragen wir ein anderes Mal.
We'll see each other again soon, Edgar.
Edgar. Das werden wir, glaube ich, ein anderes Mal machen. Das ist ja mein Zimmer. Wo ist denn?
It's locked, all right.
Es lockt. Wo ist denn dieser Colin? Dem würde ich gerne mal eine Runde helfen. Gut, dann wollen wir erstmal runtergehen und... Und wir haben soweit, glaube ich, alle gefragt, oder? Wer bist du eigentlich? Unbekannt, unbekannt. Können wir die nochmal löffeln wegen...
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reid.
Nein, können wir leider nicht.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Hallo, Kamera. Danke, Kamera. Gut, hier haben wir einen Ach, die sitzt da drin. So. Dr. Tiepels. Milton.
Good
Die
evening,
habe ich
sir.
gesucht.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reid. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reid. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reid. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
So.
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
There are a lot of secrets round here. I'm not surprised someone tried to make money from them.
What kind of secrets?
I'm not in the gossip business, Dr. Reid. If you want to know more, you better talk to Harriet Jones. She's the oldest patient here.
Und die sitzt da im Raum.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic, Dr. Reid.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the job you are paid to do?
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed. Underage girls and boys sold to all manner of perverts.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. We lack words. So excuse me if I don't look on the bright side of life.
Kein Ding, du? Haben wir hier irgendwas? Das hatten wir gerade. Sorry. Komm, dann haben wir das eigentlich
How
auch
is the
weg.
situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
So, Vampyr.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital? That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Ja, ich dachte, das macht dir wenigstens ein bisschen Freude. Persönliche Frage, hier haben wir nichts.
I have some good news, Milton.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved your wallet, with all the money, and a certain picture.
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what? Is it the difference of skin colour that bothers you?
Not at all, Milton.
Good. Please, take this money anyway. To remind you to keep your mouth shut. Not everybody is as broad-minded as you, Dr. Reid.
Bitte was?
What's going on between you and Nurse Hawkins?
Es ist so
Pippa's
klar.
tired. Tired of all this shit. Tired of all those corpses piling up. She's as depressed as I am.
During the war, I witnessed a few couples, just like you, come together in difficult circumstances. It can be very damaging.
Maybe you're right. But we support each other. And that's all that matters.
Was soll daran so schlimm sein?
You do realize you could both get fired. Hospital staff are not meant to have intimate relationships with one another.
Come on, Dr. Reid. Do you know how many rules are broken in this hospital every day just to keep it running? There's nothing wrong with what we're doing.
Alles klar, dann können wir hier mal Handel?
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reid. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Davon brauchen wir 3 Stück. Oh, guckt euch den Schaden an. 32? Nee, danke. Ich brauche mehr Geld. Da muss ich mehr Geld holen. Ich will aber gerne noch mit diesen Tippets, Dr. Tippets quatschen.
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reid has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippets, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
Machen wir einfach mal das.
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
I have no time for such triviality, my dear colleague. We're here to save lives.
So, Leben in London. Wie ist die Lage?
What is
Wir
the
fragen einfach
Pembroke
alles mal.
Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
Blackcraft ist wichtig, es ist überall dasselbe. Ich hatte keine große Wahl.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reid. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
Okay.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Machen wir erst
Tell
mal
me
das.
more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl, She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office down again.
Ein Bürohocker also. Persönliche Frage.
Geschworen, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake. That's the blunt truth.
What was the nature of the mistake?
It was a twofold error. My diagnosis was wrong, and the administered dosage was too strong.
Why not stop practicing?
Are you mad? I killed that man, I admit it, and it won't happen again. I have saved so many lives since then.
Who was this patient?
I don't know. Some sick man from the docks, maybe a fisherman. I had no time to talk with him. No one claimed a body.
So, ich glaube, wir haben alles. Also das mit den Leuten zu reden immer, das ist wirklich sehr
Goodbye,
zeitwidrig. Aber ich glaube, wir bekommen da sehr gute Informationen her. Ich bin doch hier schon mal lang gelaufen, oder? Ich will zu diesen einen Kunden hin. Oder da ist ein Mülleimer. So, okay, dann wollen wir mal...
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
Dann quetschen wir mal die Gute auch nochmal schnell aus und dann mache ich mit euch die Gute hinter uns.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
An invisible enemy? Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
Na, das ist ja nicht so toll.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them? Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett's. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
So.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No, I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Ich glaube, wir haben jetzt soweit mit ein...
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Wir haben jetzt soweit mit ein gesprochen. Da. Zu Ihnen wollte ich...
Good evening, Mr. Cox.
Dr. Reid. Still working at night, I see. I like that.
And why is that?
People who don't sleep at night always seem more alive to me. More interesting, one way or another.
You're lucky to be alive, Mr. Cox. I hope you're starting to take better care of yourself.
This place is full of sickness and decay. How could I get better in such a dump?
Consider yourself lucky that I'm treating all of my patients equally. But don't push your luck.
Don't play the innocent with me. I'm sure you have good reasons to act this way. And also weaknesses that can be exploited.
Gut, er erholt sich. Den werde ich aber nicht weiter ausquetschen. So, das war die Aufgabe, die ich noch machen wollte. Jetzt will ich aber noch mit euch zu der jungen Dame hier hin.
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet lady of mercy.
Dich kenne ich.
Good evening, Dr. Reid. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a vampire. The lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Schön, Sie zu sehen. Ich fühle mich hinter das Licht geführt. Wir sind mal nett.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Ich befrage Sie erstmal.
Pardon my boldness, Your Ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
So, dann wollen wir endlich mal das fragen.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient, or their family.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
So ein bisschen.
Excuse my impertinence, your ladyship. This is not an interrogation. I assure you that this line of questioning is in your best interest.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reid.
Ach du meine Güte.
I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
Ja, nee, alles klar, ne? Dann würde ich sagen, ihr Lieben... Ach, sie schreibt da hinten was. Vielen Dank fürs Zusehen und bis zur nächsten Folge. Ciao, ciao.